Hello, everyone, and thank you all for joining us during the Lytham Partners Winter 2021 Investor Conference. My name is Adam Lowensteiner, Vice President of Lytham Partners. During this fireside chat, we welcome Aurora Spine Corporation, ticker symbol of ASG, that is Alpha Sierra Golf on the Toronto Venture Exchange, and ASAPF, that is Alpha Sierra Alpha Papa Foxtrot on the OTCQB in the US. Their president and CEO, Trent Northcutt, is with us, as well as CFO, Clouse. Before we begin, for those not familiar, Lytham Partners is one of the country's leading investor relations firms. With more than 2 decades of corporate access experience, we have built one of the industry's most diverse and effective platforms for connecting small cap companies with high quality and focused institutional investors while creating a framework of best practices in all aspects of investor relations. Today's fireside chat is hopefully yet another example where we can bring value to multiple constituents. We will dive into questions in a moment. For one final item, I want to remind everyone that Aurora Spine is available for one-on-one meetings later this week. If you've not already signed up, please send me an email at lowensteiner@lythampartners.com or visit www.lythampartners.com/virtual and click the one-on-one meeting request button. With that said, let's begin. So let's start with Trent providing a brief overview of the company, how it was started, how'd you get to where you are today, and then maybe dive into your background, and Chad could mention his background as well.
Thank you, Adam. Thanks for having us. Well, a little bit about myself. I started out in the operating room and worked my way towards getting involved in the sports medicine company, and worked as a sports medicine sales rep, and fell in love with the idea of the treatment of spinal implants and spinal care, and really got excited about what was going on in the spinal market. And just years went by and got involved with some really great companies and had some really good success with some different companies such as Aurora, Alpha Tech, Lanx, and a company called SpineArt. And I was thrilled to be part of those groups. And but at the end of it, I decided that I wanted to start Aurora Spine. Aurora Spine had some unique ideas and concepts that were created by myself and my business partner, Laszlo Gramzegi. And we decided that we would go out and venture into a new spine startup company named Aurora Spine, the beginning of a new day in spine. And we launched a couple of key products, and we've seen some really good growth incentives coming out of those products, and some good change into the market because of this style of approach of minimally invasive implants. And I'll leave a little bit here room for Chad to introduce himself.
Hi, I'm Chad. I've been in finance and accounting for about 20 years now. I'm a CPA licensed in California. I came to Aurora from a company called Infantino that makes baby toys, so I have some background in manufacturing. I made the jump because I saw the potential here at Aurora for the growth, and I'm really excited to be part of it.
Great.
Thank you, Chad.
Thanks, guys.
So we started. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Adam, please.
No, go ahead, Trent. If you have anything else to add, feel free.
I was just going to jump into the launch of how we got Aurora, how we got it off the ground. And,
Please do.
So Aurora was founded by Laszlo and myself. We started with one product, which was the ZIP implant. The ZIP implant was a minimally invasive screwless approach to lumbar fusion and lumbar fixation. This product was introduced in 2014 into the market. And we have recently moved the technology into a broader scope using orthopedic, neuro, and pain interventional doctors using the product, training all 3 groups together and getting some really good clinical results and outcomes with this new ZIP implant, and being introduced and put in the hands of some new groups of doctors. It's been an exciting run for us so far with that particular product. What was the question you're going to ask, Adam?
Great. So I was going to say that, the year really flew by, 2021, and it was an interesting year with the release of the vaccine for COVID. What are some of the key accomplishments Aurora achieved this year that you're proud of, and that are very important for investors to be aware of?
Where do I begin? It was such a great year, even though we came out of the COVID. It was a little bit slow, early headwinds in the beginning of the year, but really was fast-paced the entire year. Some of the key highlights for us were beginning this academic training program that's part of our multi-center study with the ZIP implant. We started training doctors at the end of last year, right around November, December, and it carried right on into 2021, where we were introducing one technology and then introducing a second technology and a third technology. So the ZIP got introduced, and we've now trained this year over 200 doctors on our ZIP and our Silo product. The ZIP is for lumbar fusion. The Silo device is for SI joint fixation, as well as the add-on products that go along with that. And this is all part of this multi-center study with Aurora. The multi-center study is a 100-patient study with over 10 sites selected, and we've embarked on this, and it's already underway. Second big announcement was, of course, getting the Silo product introduced into the market and introduced into this training sessions, and getting a patent issued, and then getting the 510K, an announcement on a product called Dexa Technologies, Dexa implants. It's been really key to the story of Aurora. It was 5 years of the making to get this product available. And I'll fast forward to today. It's already looking like we'll have that implant, the Dexa C implant, put in before the year is over. And we couldn't be more excited about that. And with that, we got an extra 510K approval on our new cervical plate called the Apollo plate, with hyperlordotic angles added into it, the freedom to angulate. The product is really unique to us and really gives us a great opportunity, a great offering in the spinal cervical fusion market to show doctors the Dexa technology, patient-matched implant that's actually going to better match that patient's bone density, and give them the Apollo cervical plate, so it allows them to hyperangulate, hyperfixate that plate to fit the right adjustment to that patient's anatomy. Those are just some of the key product initiatives. Equally, we added really key staff. We added a vice president of sales to our pain division. We added new educational people to our educational team, all the trainings that we accomplished. And then we signed an agreement with PRIA Healthcare, helping us with our pre-authorizations with our procedures. So helping the doctors better treat their patients and getting ahead of the educational side of things and getting ahead of pre-authorizations with the insurance carriers and hospital systems.
So your third quarter results, you reported a few weeks ago, showed solid sequential and year-over-year improvements in revenues. Why was that, even while some of your peers had issues with the Delta variant?
So we had, of course, early in the year, first half of the year, there was some early headwinds that we went into. I think just like a lot of the companies did coming out of COVID in the previous year. Our focus on these training programs with the cadaver labs for the ZIP and for the Silo SI joint system, these procedures are more performed in outpatient settings. So we found that our procedure growth was coming a lot out of surgery centers and less out of the hospital systems. Big hospital systems, of course, were really dealing with a difficult time of this COVID situation, including the new variants that were being thrown in. So kudos to our healthcare workers out there dealing with that. But on our side, we were dealing with a lot of customers that were working just at a surgery center. So our implants could actually be used in that outpatient surgery center, which was not really affecting the hospital impact of bed usage and so forth. So that's what we saw as a benefit to Aurora and the sales revenues. And we actually see that here in the fourth quarter going all the way into next year.
So let's get this one out of the way up front. You raised capital in September. Why? What was the reasoning, or what's the use of proceeds? Did you have to raise the money?
The best answer is we need to build more inventory, and we needed to add more salespeople. The products were starting to show growth. We saw an increase from 8% to 40% sales increase in the ZIP product. We saw a 20% quarter-over-quarter growth of our Silo system on a very limited alpha phase release. And we just couldn't get to every single surgery in the country because we just didn't have enough of the manpower or the woman power to get out there and cover those procedures. So I needed to get additional income to come into the company to support those revenues. So I needed to add headcount and sales and education, and I needed to build more inventory. And that's what the proceeds were used for that capital raise.
There seems to be an evolution in the spine care market with more pain management practices being established. Why is that? What is going on? Can you please clarify for our audience this phenomenon and how Aurora is positioned to capitalize on this?
So we certainly weren't part of the initial, train leave in the station. We started seeing more pain interventional doctors being more involved and more procedure driven. Many of them have very good hands. They're very well inept and understand the treatment of that patient, the pain that the patient's going through, and understanding of what that patient's going through. We are big believers in keeping the relationship between the orthopedist, the neuro, and the pain interventional doctors as a collaboration and not a conflict. All of our cadaver labs, every single cadaver lab that we did this year and going into next year has orthopedic and neuro doctors involved in those trainings. I see that the future of the pain interventional market is a growing market. These doctors are getting more trained. There's more fellowship programs that are either begun or are being started. They're really getting into it because they want to help do right by their patient population. They want to do right by their peers, and they want to do right by their own businesses that they've started. And I believe in this market. I believe that it's a really important market to be part of. And we continue to seek advice from this sector of the market. And again, very important, really collaborating between the ortho, the neuro, and the pain doctor as a group, as a collaboration.
How do healthcare professionals or the surgeons or doctors hear and learn about your products?
Well, obviously with COVID last year, all the trade shows went away. So we had no way of introducing anything new or talking about anything at a face-to-face meeting. So a lot of virtual meetings occurred. We started to aggressively promote what we were doing at these cadaver labs and try to get as many people at these labs so we could have some face-to-face time interaction. We also started to listen to the doctor more and saw that there is a real advantage of doing some more social media posting, more social media blasts on how well this course went, what we're doing at this course, why we're doing this course. So of course, all the virtual Zoom meetings that were done and the FaceTime meetings that were done were never as good as the in-person meetings, but we started to share that information. So we started building our presence on LinkedIn, building our presence on Facebook and on Twitter and on Instagram, showing that, hey, look, these cadaver labs are showing some really good information, really good data, and come join us and come down to these meetings. And we look forward to seeing you down at these meetings.
So when some of these doctors and healthcare professionals learn about your products, how long does it take to get them to adopt your products?
Some are instant. Some accounts see it instantly, have patients pre-selected, and go right into it. They want to get their training done. They want to get their hands on the instruments and implants in a cadaveric setting. They want to talk to their peers about it. Some quickly adopt right on into it. Some take a presence where they might do a case right away and check and follow that patient for many months just to see what the outcomes were. And some of them just say it's not for them. They have an established practice. They want to be taught on new things. They want to look at it. And if it's just not for them, then they won't do it. But we've had really good turnout on our, what we call the training courses. We've trained over 200 doctors. We've dropped all these doctors into our CRM system. And we are following up with them and getting their feedback. So we want to know what we did right, what we can improve on, and what we're going to do better going forward. And we're listening, and we think it's a really great time for us to have this collaboration going on. And I think the adoption rate is going to increase over time. I think it's going to become more and more easier for the doctors to see how these technologies can help their practice.
Of the doctors that adopt or use your products, along those lines, how sticky is it? Do they, once they adopt it and they like it and get used to it, I mean, they're sticking with it?
Yeah, we see a really good retention rate with the doctors. Obviously, again, they want to sometimes see how their patient does in post-op follow-up. They're checking with their peers on how their results are coming out. This is what was important to us to be part of evidence-based medicine. This is why we're doing a multi-center study with the ZIP. We're doing a multi-center study with the Silo FX, the TFX. We're doing a multi-center study on the Dexa and Apollo plate together, and future Dexa technologies will also be added to that multi-center study. So evidence-based medicine, evidence-based facts on how well these clinical outcomes are coming out there, because we want to get a positive result that we can share the data so the doctors can also share this data with their patient population. So I think that that's going to accelerate also with the doctors' adoption rates.
The Silo has been a nice contributor this year, but you have a newer version of the product that's nearing commercialization. When is that expected to hit the market, and are customers awaiting this new version? And if so, why?
Silo's been terrific. Silo is a product that's showing quarter over quarter growth, 20% increase over every quarter. We've made some great modifications to the instrumentation, listening to the doctors as we participated at these cadaver labs, really streamlining the approach. And happened to be that behind me, the screen is playing here. It's showing the TFX, which has been pending FDA approval this year. And we believe that the TFX, which is the patented posterior SI joint system that has extra fixation added to it. It's a manufactured implant that has the ability to be 3D printed as well, to fixate into the SI joint by adding its patented delivery system, its patented implant design, and its patented fixation design, allowing the doctor to have control and ease of use for the implant to go in and fixate into the SI joint, fixating that SI joint down. We are anticipating, and although we don't have a crystal ball in front of us, we're optimistic and hoping that we'll get FDA approval within the next 90 days.
So let's pivot a little bit and discuss another platform of yours is Dexa. It's a technology platform that received a key patent about a year ago. What are you doing with that technology platform? When will your first product be approved and used?
So the good thing is the Dexa was released, got a patent issued on it a year ago. We worked 5 years on that stock technology. We wanted to take 3D printing to the next level because it was beyond 3D titanium. Our Dexa patent is covering all additive manufacturing, ceramics, organics, biologics, anything that's additive manufacturing. So our first key initiative product to be released, we wanted to get first started in the cervical space because we felt the cervical was a great place for us to start. Introduce the Dexa C technology in a cervical fusion opportunity. Goes hand in hand with our Apollo plate, the new cervical plate that we got released. And that's the first product that got its 510(k) approval, that particular device based upon the patent. And we plan on implanting that product with some really great, terrific ortho and neurospine surgeons across the country in December, and doing a good alpha release on that product all through Q1 with a full release beyond beta release in Q2 of the Dexa C cervical implant. And this is the first implant of its kind that actually the doctor can pre-map out what is the patient's bone density, and before the surgery starts can actually select what size density implant they want to use for that, or intraoperatively make a quick pivot and actually be able to select a different implant intraoperatively that better matches that patient's bone density. And the future, I guess the future of that product is actually going to be expanding. It's a technology. So it's not just a cervical spacer, it's actually a platform. The Dexa platform will be applied to all Aurora implants that deal directly with patient's bone density. So if there's an implant that needs to go between the vertebral bodies or into the SI joint space, or even future products such as dental implants or hip and knee replacement, shoulder replacement, this type of implant, this type of technology can be applied to those implants.
I was just going to ask, what are the other uses are there for Dexa, and why is it so important for investors to focus in on it?
They got to see it as a platform. It's not just one product, but it is the door opening product that doctors have been looking for. Over time, just take the last 20 years. The last 20 years, every time there was a new advancement in material changes or material properties, the doctors quickly evolved to those technologies. Are looking for them. They went right to it. So we believe that everything that's in the Dexa technology is the best of all the worlds. It's the best of biologics. It's the best of metallic structure. It's the best of a polymer, of a modulus. It's the best of an additive 3D printed product, all rolled into one technology that can be made and then balanced based upon that patient's bone density, because bone density truly matters. What's true with some patients' bone density is different than others. This is why there's normal bone, there's osteopenia, and there's osteoporosis. So for us, we plan on offering an implant that's better suited for that patient's bone score, that patient's bone density. And this is why we've added the patent into the T-scores and into the color coding system. In fact, for those of you who can't see this presentation, you can actually go to our website at DexaImplants.com and actually see the implant and see how it's measured by its color coding system. These implants are actually color coded and give the doctor direct visualization interoperatively to know what implant they want to put in the patient.
Will Aurora seek possible outside licensing deals and with other companies that have other products and looking towards customization?
I say all lines of communication are always open. Any good opportunity we're willing to listen to. So we're open to those type of conversations. We're not in the dental implant market. We're not in the total joint market or the trauma market. We're in the spinal and the pain interventional market. Those are our markets we're focused on. But I would be encouraged to have conversations with the companies that could see this platform for what it is, the advantages that it could offer to them, and most importantly, how we could offer this to patients around the world.
So just circling back a little bit on a question we discussed earlier, looking at 2021, what, if any, levers did you pull in 2021 that as a result will have some sort of impact in 2022 and beyond that investors should be on the lookout for?
One of the key indicators is to see how we made a pivot on the ZIP implant by getting it introduced to the pain interventional market. And we did this by showing that we were going to use evidence-based training, evidence-based clinical studies. And this multi-center study is one of the big changes to Aurora that we started on this year. So it showed from an 8% monthly number for the product to being sold as our overall sales to a 40% number because of the value that the doctors saw in using this technology to help lower the opioid use in their practice, lower the injections in their practice, and actually offer a mechanical fixation to help treat that patient and actually get back on their feet. So we've introduced this. We're going to prove it with these multi-center studies. We're going to bring this technology to more and more training courses throughout the year. And then, as I said earlier, we're going to not just show them the ZIP product and not just do a multi-center study with ZIP product. We're going to do a multi-center study with the Silo system. We're going to do a multi-center study with the Dexa technology platform. And this is the change that Aurora has made. And we've added the benefit of pre-authorizations with a company called Priya Healthcare, where now we're able to help with these trainings, help with these training courses, these doctors by adding pre to get a pre-authorization on all of the procedures.
So looking down the field a little bit, what other technologies or services, capabilities, is the company working on that investors should be on the lookout for, 2 to 5 years from now?
Well, so what we're expanding on, of course, is expanding based on the platforms such as Dexa and expanding on the patents that Aurora has received. We do focus on patents. We think patents is a big part of the Aurora story. And then training and education, the academic side of this, the educational side of this couldn't be more important to us. And then backing it up by actually releasing the data, releasing the information with evidence-based, because we want positive clinical outcomes. And with this, we're going to get with the training program. So what you're going to see going into 2022 and beyond is you're going to start to see how we've taken some of our existing implants and upgrading them to new versions, especially upgrading new versions using Dexa technology.
Anything else you want to say before we end the discussion?
I think this is a key time for the people who've been longtime believers and supporters of the Aurora story, to help share this story to the people that are on the outside looking in. 2022 is absolutely our year. We have no, we don't know what's going to happen with the COVID, but with our heads down and our goals focused, and the fact that Aurora is been able to bring in some additional capital to help build up those inventory levels that were needed, and to add more headcount to get the story out there, is going to be the takeaway message for all of our shareholders and stakeholders in the company. Keep an eye on us, because you're going to see updates every single month, every single quarter, all through next year, because we're going to have something exciting to talk about, because there's so many great things going on with Aurora right now, and that they're going to be able to either jump on the train now, because the train's leaving the station. If you don't jump on now, it's too late. And it's going to never been a better time to take a closer look at Aurora and its technologies. It's never been a better time to be a shareholder at Aurora Spine.
Trent and Chad, thank you very much for your time today. We greatly appreciate it. To anyone out there that's not already signed up for a one-on-one, again, please send me an email at lowensteiner@lythampartners.com, or again, visit www.lythampartners.com/virtual and click the one-on-one meetings request button. Thank you again to Trent and Chad, and we hope you all enjoy the conference.
Thank you, Adam.
Thank you, Adam.